morning, good afternoon, or even good evening to you all, depending on where you're joining us from across the world today. I'm Bridget Sampson. I'm Vice Principal for External Relations here at the University of Glasgow, and it is my immense pleasure to welcome you to this live Q&A session for our new students. And can I just firstly say a huge congratulations to each and every one of you on your place at the University of Glasgow. We are already immensely proud of everything that you've achieved, and we genuinely cannot wait for you to join Team UofG in mere weeks' time, in fact. So I know that you will all have lots and lots of questions for us, and I'm really hopeful that today's expert panel will be able to answer as many of those questions as possible in the kind of 45 minutes I think that we have today. Thank you to everyone that has already submitted questions in advance. We're going to try and get through as many of those as we possibly can. But if you are watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, we have our lovely colleagues waiting in the wings who are facilitating the chat function there. So if you have any questions, please do pop them up. Hopefully they'll be able to respond to you directly, or they will feed them into us and we'll try to get through those today as well. So I know we're going to crack on because there's a lot to cover. So I'm going to firstly hand over to the lovely panel here with us today and ask them to introduce themselves. So Ella, I'll maybe start with you if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Just to introduce myself, hi everyone, I'm Ella and I'm the current president of the Student Representative Council. That is one of 4 student bodies on campus, but I'm sure we'll get to that and speak a bit more about that. So for now, that's who I am.
Thanks so much, Ella. And yeah, lots to cover on the SRC front. Shirley, I'll come to you next.
Hi everyone, I'm Shirley. I work within accommodation services in the allocations department. So we are kind of responsible for processing your application for accommodation, allocating your room, and really the first point of contact for any inquiries that you might have during your stay at our residencies.
Thanks so much, Shirley, and definitely some accommodation questions that we want to come on to in just a moment. And then I will turn to my external relations colleagues, Monica and Gavin. So Monica, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, absolutely. So hello, my name is Monica Anderson and I work within external relations. I've held kind of several roles within the directorate, including widening participation, and I'm also a former student at the university.
Great, thanks Monica. And last but by no means least, Gavin.
Hi, yeah, so I'm Gavin and I'm a UK Student Recruitment Officer here at the university. Normally I'm going around the UK talking to everyone about coming to Glasgow, doing a lot of these virtual things over the past wee while, but yeah, looking forward to this wee session.
Great, thanks very much Gavin. And yes, as am I, and I know there's lots of people who have joined us from all across the globe today, so massive welcome wherever you are. We do have, and actually it's a good place for us to start, we have had lots of questions coming in about what the learning and teaching experience is going to be like in this first semester. Will people be studying online, offline, a mixture of both? So I'm going to kick off with a response to this and say that it will be a blended learning experience. So what does that mean? Well, it means that actually all of our large lecture theatre style classes will be delivered online, so you'll be able to access all of the materials remotely, and it will be a mixture of both synchronous and asynchronous learning. But in addition to that, and really importantly, we will have a whole wealth of learning opportunities on the physical campus at Glasgow, or campuses, I should say, because you could be studying in one of 3 of our campuses. And we will have seminars, tutorials, labs, and practicals that will be taking place on campus. We are limiting the numbers in the classes to 50 for health and safety reasons, but across every single programme, you will have the opportunity to be on campus, to engage with lecturers, and of course to engage with other students on your programme. So we are really encouraging all of our students to physically join us in Glasgow wherever possible, because there will be a really rich learning and teaching experience and offer to you. And in addition to that, of course, our world-class facilities and resources will also be open. So we will have our James McEwan Smith new high-tech, state-of-the-art learning and teaching facility, which only opened in April. So it really is brand spanking new. And it is a fabulous, fabulous study facility, and lots of breakout spaces and lecture rooms. But our library, our sports facilities, our galleries, our unions, and all of these resources will be open for you. And actually most of them remained open across the course of the last year. So for those that are a little bit concerned, thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to be studying online the whole time? Absolutely not, that won't be the case. I also know that some have inquired as to whether you can choose to study online for the first semester. Now, in the main, as I say, we're encouraging all students who can physically come to Glasgow to join us here, because we really value the student experience that we have on offer for you, and we really think that you will value it and benefit from it as well. But for those that it's going to be really, really challenging to get here to begin the start of the academic year, you can study online in some instances, but you would have to let us know. You would have to get in touch, and you would have to let us know. And we're looking at circumstances on a case-by-case basis. There are a small number of programs that do require you to be physically here in Glasgow, and they've set very clear deadlines for the point in time in which you have to physically be on campus to participate in the learning experience on offer, and that's in order to ensure that we can teach you all the things that you need to be taught on campus in the appropriate environment. So for a small number of programs, it's certainly not an option to study online. For everyone else, we would encourage you to physically be here, but if you have problems because of travel, because of visas, because of underlying health conditions that might make that really challenging, then do get in touch with your school, your program coordinator, and they'll be able to respond and let you know what is and isn't feasible in that circumstance. So hopefully that's clear. We're going to come on to this in just a moment, and Monica will say a little bit more about this, but there are lots and lots of resources online. So if you go onto our web pages, they all have a kind of banner along the top. It's kind of coronavirus advice for kind of offer holders and new students. And it will give you kind of chapter and verse in terms of what to expect in coming to Glasgow and what is and isn't in scope in terms of the support that we can provide to you. So hopefully that will be really helpful. If you haven't already checked that out, then I would say definitely do. And as mentioned, for those students who are really concerned about making it to Glasgow by the latest arrival date that has been stipulated for your programme, if you're on a programme that has said that you really do need to be here by a set date, if you can't, and you know that you can't through no fault of your own, and I know that there will be some of you absolutely in that situation, just get in touch with us. So I think the first port of call is absolutely check the resources online and get in touch with your programme coordinator so we are aware and we can advise you on next steps. So hopefully that is clear to everyone. I know it's complicated, and I know lots of things are continuing to change, but we are really thrilled to have our student community back joining us in a few weeks' time on our campuses, and we really do hope that you'll be able to join us then. Okay, so from that, there's still quite a few questions around admissions as well, and particularly from our international students who are joining us, asking about CASs. And of course, we know that you will need your CAS in order to get your visa, and we're also really keen for you to register and enroll. So the first thing I want to say is that we are enormously grateful for your patience. Our amazing admissions team have been working hard over the last few months to update CASs and get everything into place. We're obviously dealing with a really high volume of candidates like yourself. So apologies if you've had to wait a little bit longer than anticipated. But Gavin does have an update for us. So Gavin, I'm going to turn to you if that's okay, just to say a little bit more about admissions and CAS issuance.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, as you say, Rachel, it's one of these things that admissions have been working tirelessly on. So, and again, just cannot thank everyone enough for the patience as admissions are kind of working through all these things. But the big things that are coming up is essentially people want to ask questions about getting registered and enrolling with us, their CAS as well. So just to kind of cover registration and enrolment, this is one of the things that you become eligible for as soon as the admissions team have kind of completed all the required actions on your applicant record. So if you are having any issues registering and enrolling, it might just be because you've got ongoing actions, and they might be kind of preventing your eligibility to register and enroll. So things they might be looking at, they might be reviewing and verifying your qualifications, your English language, any other documentation that kind of fits in with your conditions. And they might also be looking at things like fee status, widening participation status as well. One of the things that could be holding it up as well, if you're maybe in a situation where things are held up and you're not quite sure why, it might just be that there's an applicant approval of your CAS as well. So I'll come on to talk about that as well. But essentially you have your kind of self-service portal, and that's where you can kind of update your kind of your CAS letter there as well. But once all these kind of actions are complete, once your to-do list is complete, that's when you'll be able to receive your login. And it does take about kind of 24 hours. So don't just feel that once you've kind of completed all your tasks that you're going to automatically be able to sign in. As everything runs through computers now, it does take a wee bit of time just to go through the system. And if you're sitting down there thinking just if you're eligible or not, you can jump online to check on your applicant self-service portal. So just jump on that, check your to-do list is complete. You can review the applicant self-service CAS tile. So there's a tile there for your CAS letter as well. And you can either approve it, or if maybe, as Rachel was saying, some of you might need to arrive slightly later than the kind of the latest arrival date in the UK, you can request changes there as well. So that's where you can kind of give us some updates. So if you are still sitting there thinking, I've done all this, my to-do list is done, that's when we want you to get in touch with us, and only once that you've kind of double checked all these things, because there is a few things you do need to check. It's just natural that you might have let some slip, but double check all these things. And then if you're still struggling, just get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us at glasgow.ac.uk/study/inquire. And hopefully we can kind of put that up on the screen at some point as well. But that's a great place to get in contact with us if you're still struggling a bit.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gavin. And yes, we have a lovely kind of rolling information kind of resource signposting thing happening along the bottom of the screen here. So hopefully if you weren't aware of some of those resources existing, you do know now, which is great. I would just want to underscore the importance of going onto your applicant portal, because your applicant portal is your home for all of the information that pertains just to you. So quite often it will be the place where you'll be given a prompt about something, or something that you just have to approve and sign off. So make that your first port of call. And actually, as Gavin says, if you feel like you have done everything that you need to do and things are still not kind of moving forward, then please get in touch with us, and we'll be really happy to pick that up directly with you. And just on the resources that we have available, Monica, I'll just come to you now if that's okay, because, you know, obviously this is a big move, I'm sure, for almost everyone that's watching us. You know, this will be a kind of, you know, a move from high school to university, perhaps a move of cities, and perhaps a move of countries for many. So, you know, how do students prepare to join us in Glasgow? You know, where can they find the information that they really need right now?
Yeah, of course. So we do want to make sure that everybody's journey to coming to Glasgow is as smooth as possible. So we've put together a whole host of resources to make sure that you know exactly what you need to do before you start your course. And that includes our web pages. So we've got a dedicated web page for new students, and that has all the information about enrollments, registering. So all of that is available online. We also have a new student checklist, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a checklist of all the things that we want to make sure that you do before you start your course. So if anybody is starting and you haven't had a look at those two resources, then please do so, because literally everything you need to do has been listed there and is all available for you there. So it's really important that you do look at those. Also, tomorrow we are going to be launching our new student Facebook group. So we're going to be sending links with information about that. So you're going to hear about that really, really soon, but that's going to be opening tomorrow, so on the 20th. And if you're on Facebook, please do join, because it's an opportunity to meet all the other new students that are going to be starting at Glasgow this year. So you never know, you might even meet someone who's going to be on your course. So that's a really great opportunity to meet people before you even start on your course officially. And also one resource that I really, really want to highlight this year is we have our T2G, or Transition to Glasgow program, which is an online module that's going to be running for 2 weeks from the 23rd of August till the 3rd of September. So in the weeks running up to Freshers Week. And it's a brilliant module that's been put together by academics at the University of Glasgow. And it's basically, it covers everything that you need to know and everything that you need to prepare for study at the university. One thing to note though is that registrations do close at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So if you do want to take part, and I do hope everybody does, you do need to register by tomorrow to make sure that you do get a place on the course. And I know you're probably sitting there thinking, why would I spend my last 2 weeks of my holidays doing an online course about studying at university when that's what I'm going to be doing anyway? And to be fair, if I was, or when I was a new student, I probably would have the same thought going through my head. But what I would highlight is just how amazing the course is and how helpful it will be. And honestly, having seen the program, I think, once you're a student, you'll be so glad that you took part in it, because it's got so much useful information on it about what it is like to study at Glasgow, that it'll be a huge help once you're actually on your course. And it just means you'll hit the ground running as well. And it's an opportunity again to meet academics and fellow students at the university. So I cannot recommend the program enough. So please do take the time to register. And like I said, the deadline for that will be tomorrow, 10 a.m. So yeah, please do take the time to register. And there's information beneath about where you can find that information.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Monica. Lots and lots of resources on offer to you there. And yes, don't miss the chance to register for the programme. So please check that out if you haven't already. As Monica said, it's a fantastic programme and it will really help you kind of transition into the University of Glasgow academic community. Now, whilst we're still talking about students coming to Glasgow, I know that we have lots of our international new students joining us today, and lots of questions around the need to quarantine and whether the cost of quarantining will be covered by the university. So I wanted to just pick this up first and foremost. So yes, and I know that this has been a little bit of a moving feast over the course of the last few months, but if you're travelling from a country on the UKVI red list and entering into any airport in the UK, so it doesn't have to just be in Scotland, and you're going through managed quarantine, and of course you will have to go through the appropriate official channels to register for managed quarantine before you arrive, we will reimburse you the full cost for that managed quarantine. So right now the cost is £2,285, and of course that covers your accommodation, catering, tests and transportation from the airport to the managed quarantine hotel. We will pick up that cost irrespective of whether you're in a managed quarantine hotel here in Glasgow, which some of you may be, or one in London or Birmingham. There are a few stipulations to that, and again, you can find out what those are on our web pages. But providing you have gone through the appropriate official managed quarantine route, then we will reimburse you the cost of that on that receipt. Once you give us that receipt, and that money will go back into your account. If you're an international student, we would recommend that you register for a UK bank account, because it just helps to speed up that whole process. But even if you don't have a UK bank account, we will be able to reimburse the funds into your international bank account. It might just take a little bit longer for that to happen. So that's for those students who are travelling from red list countries that have to go into managed quarantine. I know that many of you will actually be transiting to Glasgow through amber list countries, which means you don't need managed quarantine, but you will still have to self-isolate for 10 days on arrival. And we do want to ensure that we're providing support to you as well. So I might just bring Shirley in now, if that's okay, because Shirley, you might want to say a little bit about what support we have in place for students who are staying in our own halls of residence, our own accommodation, coming in from amber list countries.
Yeah, sure, Rachel. We've got a lot on offer really to help support our students that need to isolate. Firstly, on arrival, they will be given a food bag. Now, this is designed really to last a couple of days just to help them settle in, give them the essential items that they might need before they can organise their own food deliveries. That we've got a comprehensive online grocery guide on our UofG Living web pages. It gives you lots of information on where to order food from and useful tips to bear in mind when you're ordering as well. We'll provide cleaning products. We'll supply those at the beginning of your stay just to get you started, so you don't need to worry about that either. A laundry service will be provided for you, so we'll come and collect your laundry, wash it and deliver it back to you if you want that. We've got an online programme of welcome and orientation events that's currently being worked on at the moment. Can't give you much information about that today, but I can quite confidently say that it'll have everything covered for you and to help you to welcome you and settle you into the accommodation. We've also got our living support team on hand to welcome students and carry out welfare checks and provide support to students, not only around concerns about self-isolation, but they can also assist with worries around perhaps financial issues, homesickness, worries about your course, provide support and getting to know the halls, the local area, give you key contacts that you might need during your stay and help you to settle into university life. Some of the staff have been there for years, so they know exactly what you're going through and they've got some great advice that they can offer you. There is also a useful article on the UofG Living platform. If you just type UofG Living into Google, it'll come up straight away, and it's the article's managing self-isolation, and it's giving you handy tips and advice and guidance what to do while you're isolating.
Fantastic, and that page is now coming up on the ticker tape at the bottom, which is great, as if by magic, surely. And can I just pick up one thing with you, because what about for those students who want to arrive early and get into their halls of residence before the academic term starts? Now, we are doing something to support those students, aren't we? Do you want to say just a little bit about that?
Yeah, we are. Students are able to isolate in accommodation, obviously. Our contracts begin on the 10th of September. Now, most courses may not start to the 20th, so that is really enough time. It should allow you enough time to complete your isolation period before classes begin, but we do understand that some people may need to come earlier than that. We're asking you, first of all, to liaise with your course leader. Just make sure that early arrival is necessary in the first place, and if it is, then we're offering up to 10 days free accommodation for the purpose of isolation from before the start of the contract. It is worth flagging, though, that this is solely down to availability and you do need to make an application for it. So please check with accommodation services just to ensure that early arrival is possible before you book any travel or make any arrangements. Just drop us an email and we'll get back to you as soon as possible to confirm that.
Thanks, Shirley. So yes, so if you are keen to join us early and to self-isolate before the start of the academic year kicks off, then do get in touch with accommodation services, because subject to availability, we will be able to give you access to a room 10 days earlier than your contract's official start date for free, which is fantastic. So thanks very much for that, Shirley. Now, the other key question that we're getting lots and lots of questions on, and probably a little bit of uncertainty around this, Gavin, I'll come back to you, and it's really about vaccinations. So do students need to be vaccinated when they arrive? Do they need to be fully vaccinated before coming onto the campus? What does this look like? What does this mean for our new students right now?
Yeah, so this is something that everyone's really talking about, including me. I'm one of the people who just got my second vaccine yesterday, so that's why I'm looking and feeling a wee bit peely-wally, which if you're not from Glasgow means a wee bit kind of run down, but definitely worth it. But yeah, so our students, right now we're kind of not planning on requiring our students to vaccinate twice before coming onto campus. It's something that we'll follow the Scottish Government guidelines on this, again, just to kind of keep our students and staff and wider community safe. But we do kind of really strongly encourage our students to get the second, both vaccines, if they haven't already, and we're actually going to be offering our students the chance to get vaccinated right on campus as well. So I think the plan is to have like kind of pop-up vaccinations on campus during freshers. So obviously you can be like joining the Shrek Society, the football team, the skydiving club, and then getting your vaccine at the same time as well, which is pretty kind of handy. And I think it's going to run on for like the 2 weekends after freshers as well. So you should be able to get your kind of vaccine there as well. Just to kind of like you get settled, get kind of used to the place, get to know the place, and then go get your vaccines. And don't worry, it's going to be like the NHS who will be providing this. It's not going to be us in the chat doing any of this. So for nothing else other than I'm terrified of jags. Another Scottish word for the jab or the vaccine. But yeah, so they'll make sure you're getting the most appropriate vaccine. And if you have already had one of them, make sure you can bring some sort of kind of evidence that you've had that and which one you've had. And that'll just make things so much easier. But yeah, it's really good that we're in a position where we're working with NHS to help be able to vaccine our students on campus. So yeah, And it's one of these things, it's looking after yourself and it's looking after those around you. And at Glasgow, like, all of our students do look out for one another, and it's one of these things. It's, yes, it helps you definitely, but it's making sure you can go into classes again and see, socialise again, and you can feel fully safe. So it's a good thing for the wider community as well to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Gavin. And we'll come on to some of the other health and safety measures that we're taking on campus to protect our student and staff community. But great that we're actually going to have pop-up vaccination centres across the campus. I think there might be some plan for the halls of residence as well, potentially. So there should be opportunities for you to actually get jagged on campus at Glasgow. And what I did also want to flag is that for international students, you are absolutely eligible to get vaccinated here in the UK, in Scotland. So there's no issue at all. If you're coming in with already being vaccinated, then great. But if you require vaccinations here, or if you require even like a second vaccination when you're here in Glasgow, then that will absolutely be organised. So you can gain access to that without any problem at all. Okay, so Ella, we have not heard from you yet, and I'm really keen to kind of bring your voice to the party to talk about the Student Representative Council and the other student bodies. We have so many at Glasgow, but I just wondered if you could say a little bit about, you know, what you do, why you do it, what support's available from students from the SRC.
Yeah, of course. So this might be some more of the fun stuff we can cover for a minute. So yeah, Glasgow University is quite unique in the sense that we've actually got 4 student bodies. You might be used to hearing about, you know, the Students' Union, but yeah, we've got 4. Just to talk about we're the SRC, but there is also the 2 social unions, which is the QMU and the GUU, or Queen Margaret Union, Glasgow University Union, and they're 2 of the social unions. So one, QMU, is sort of a recognised gig space, big venue area, and the GUU is a sort of nationally recognised debating institution, and they've also got the nightclubs and their bars and other venue areas. You've also got GUSA, which is Glasgow University Sports Association. So they've got the gym and they've got all the sports societies on campus, which you might want to get involved with. And then last but not least, there's the SRC, which is the Student Representative Council. So out of the 4, we're the only legally representative body of students. And we sort of exist to help students in 3 main capacities. We're there to support you, we're there to add to your experience, and we're there to represent you. So we're made up of about 50 council members, and they work and meet throughout the year to basically represent all student issues across university committees and on all sorts of issues. That's from academic reps, class reps, which you can get involved with when you join us, and also equal opportunity reps. So they look out for student welfare and represent them alongside our executive officers. On the side of welfare then, we have a confidential and independent advice centre. So that's there for if you experience any issues or need guidance on anything throughout your time at university, you can go out to them. That's from anything from academic issues such as appeals to questions you might have about council tax, or even if you're dealing with any housing issues, they can really help you with that. So if they themselves can't help you with something, they're often really good at knowing who they can pass you along to. So they're there for you throughout your studies if you need them. Obviously, the council members are also there to support you. So if you have any issues, you can always feel free to reach out to us. And then on top of all that, we're also there to just generally add to the student experience. So we have, and we'll probably talk a bit more about that, but we've got affiliated clubs and societies, and we've got over 300 of them. And we've also got a volunteering service, which has lots of volunteering opportunities that you can get involved with throughout your time at university. And a lot of them can end up being recognised on your HEAR transcript. So really good opportunities for your CV. I think that's a rough crash course to what we have at the SRC and what we do for you guys, but I'm sure you'll come across us in some capacity during your time at university, if not at the start of term during all the welcome activities. But if you ever need to reach out to us, all our information is on the website and you can see all about our services.
Fantastic, Ella. Lots and lots and lots to share there. And actually, my next question for you is, what about Freshers Week? Will students be enjoying a Freshers Week experience? Will they be able to engage with the SRC and other student bodies at that time?
Yeah, I can talk a bit about this. So this year it is maybe a wee bit different than in a normal year, not just because we're still going through a pandemic. So as I've mentioned, the 4 student bodies this year, we're taking a sort of 2 different approaches. So the 2 social unions are hosting their Freshers Week. You can go on to their social media pages, and that's all sort of nighttime events, things that are very much geared towards freshers. And as far as I'm aware, I think they're planning to open up some of the bar spaces, and well, you'll have to look at their pages to see what all that they've got on. But I think a lot of the information for those events will be released shortly. So definitely keep an eye on that. As well as UofG Freshers, we've this year got UofG Welcome. So that is being run by the SRC and the GUSA. So that will involve things like sports taster sessions if you're wanting to get involved with some sports and societies. I think they're hosting a festival, which is basically an all-day sports day, which sounds really exciting on the Garscube campus. On the SRC side, we're running things from home student mixers to university campus tours. I think we've got a earphone disco or headphone disco in the mix. So lots and lots to see. We've also fully recognised that not everyone will be able to join us for the start of term. So we're very much taking a blended approach, and we've got a lot of events also on offer online. So I can see it coming up at the bottom there, UofG Welcome and Freshers Week. I'm sure, yep, I can see the links coming up as well now. If you follow those links, you can see everything that we've got on, and keep checking back because we know there's going to be things added throughout the next couple of weeks. So we're also, as part of the UofG Welcome, hoping to scatter those activities past 1 week with recognition that everyone's not going to be there. So we plan to have lots of activities coming up in the next month and semester. So keep an eye on all of our socials to see what we're doing.
Ella, I really do love a silent disco, so I hope that you're going to send me on details of that in the not too distant future. But it's great that actually we will have a real mix of physical activities in and around the campus, but also lots happening virtually as well. So for those of you that are not able to join in time for Freshers Week, you can still really fully participate and get to know some of your fellow students, which is fantastic. I'm going to have one final shot at asking you a question about clubs and societies and the like, because, you know, how can students get engaged with our many societies and clubs if they're really keen to? You know, what would you recommend they do?
I'm actually glad you asked, because probably one of the big things I left out of all of our welcome activities is some of the main activities we'll have on is our festivals. So we've got our sports festival and our clubs and societies festival, and this is probably your first point of contact for meeting clubs and societies throughout the year. So obviously I mentioned the SRC has over 300 affiliated clubs and societies, and while you can always go onto our website and social media to sort of navigate the information for accessing or, you know, reaching out to those club societies, this will be your first real chance to meet these clubs. So they will all be at the fair. You can walk around, talk about what events they've got on throughout the year, what membership looks like, how you might join. Most are very open to sort of all sorts of abilities and always looking for new members. So they're all really excited to meet everyone. So there's the 300 club societies. That's everything from academic subjects, societies like the Comparative Lit Society, the Scottish Literature Society, the hobby societies, to things that just people are passionate about. I think we've got a beekeeping society who have hives on campus, which is really exciting. I guarantee that whatever you're interested in doing, there's a club or society that has people that are probably interested in it as well as all of the societies that we have affiliated to us. You'll also have the chance during Freshers Week and beyond to meet the over 50 sports clubs that are on campus. So they're managed by GUSA. They're going to have their sports fair on the main university campus as well, which will be a great chance for you to meet them at the start of term. And if you can't come in person, there will be the option to sort of communicate and chat to these clubs and societies on an online platform that we've got. So to find the details of that, again, just look at all of our welcome activities. But if you're a bit overwhelmed at the start of term but wanting to join later on, you can always find all the information for our clubs and societies on our website, and you can always reach out to GUSA and find out what all they've got on as well.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Thanks so much for that, Ella. And also, just for those that are thinking, well, I'm not going to be getting there, you know, at the beginning of the academic year, and I may be joining at the start of next year or the end of this year. Have I missed the boat? Do you want to say a little bit about the kind of refreshers week that we organise as well?
Yeah, sure. We are definitely firmly still just going to go ahead with the planning of this one. But every year we have refreshers activities. And like we've said, we're very conscious that everyone's arriving at different times. So we very much plan to extend the welcome activities sort of throughout the semester. But there will be probably a higher concentration of ones again in January time. And that's usually pushed by all 4 student bodies. So you'll probably have more opportunities then to meet the clubs and societies in person. You'll have more opportunities to meet other students and, organised events and activities. And you'll get more of a chance to sort of be introduced to the unions and their venue spaces and everything else that's going on. So don't worry if you're missing it for now. Things will be going on throughout the semester and again in January. So yeah, I would recommend following everyone's social media, all 4 student bodies, and then you'll be very much kept in the loop with everything that's going on.
That's a really good tip, actually. So if you haven't started following all of these various accounts yet, then please do, because it's a great way of just kind of keeping up to date with all of the activities that will be taking place throughout the year. Thanks so much for that, Ella. Shirley, I might just come back to you if that's okay. Just a kind of question for those who are waiting for an offer. So they've applied for accommodation, they're waiting for an offer. What happens next? What do they need to do or need to be thinking about?
Yeah, there is quite a lot of people in this boat at the moment. As you can probably expect, the demand for accommodation this year is particularly high. Our team are working tirelessly to get through applications as quickly as they possibly can. So apologies that if you've not received your offer as timely as you would have hoped for. We can totally understand that you just want to get things finalised, but we anticipate that all offers will be issued over the next couple of weeks. Anybody who has accepted a place in their accommodation will soon be invited to complete an online induction, and that'll have lots of information on planning your arrival, what to expect when you arrive. There'll be health and safety guidance, social media channels that you should follow, tips on what you should think about in your first week of arrival, and you'll also be given the chance to book your arrival time slot. But for those of you who are still waiting on an offer, we do understand that you want to finalise it, but be assured we're working as quickly as we can, and we'll try to get an offer out to you as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much for that, Shirley. And I guess if anyone is really concerned, then they know they can get in touch directly with accommodation services.
Yeah.
And just finally, what should students be bringing with them if they're moving into one of our halls? I think this is a kind of a common question where some students are like, what will I have there? What will I need to bring with me? Do you have any kind of particular hints and tips or guidance that you can provide?
Well, this is a very common question that we get asked, and we have articles on the UofG Living platform that will give you all sorts of information on the things that you should bring or not bring when you're coming into residence. So it's worth having a look on there and checking it. I also just want to make you aware that we work in partnership with a company. It's Unikit Out, and you can order essential like kitchen, bedroom and bathroom items like towels, crockery, cooking utensils, and they can be delivered to your accommodation in advance of your arrival. So it's worth checking that out just to help limit what you need to bring and to take the hassle out of it all, really. And the good thing is that all UofG students are getting offered a 10% discount too, which is great. You'll get more details again, as I said, on UofG Living, so I would check that out. Just to kind of make you aware that we are trying to encourage you only to bring one person with you when you're moving in. Try and limit the belongings that you're going to bring with you as much as you possibly can. Glasgow is a city full of shops where you can get things that you'll need during your stay at very reasonable prices. So it'd be good for you to take advantage of that as well. All of our residencies are kind of well located within 15 minutes, 20 minutes walk to campus, with the exception of our catered residence, that's Wolves Hall. That's just a short bus journey away, but students who do decide to go there will be given a free bus pass, and that allows free travel all in and around Glasgow, so that's a really good incentive as well. Also, don't forget that each student in our residencies are given a free membership to gain access to the university's premium on-campus facilities at the gym. So they offer a wide range of fantastic options, whether you're a fitness fanatic or just a beginner. Your membership will be automatically activated when you arrive as well, so it's ready to use, and you can get more information about that on our UofG Sport pages as well.
Yeah, that's great to know. Thanks so much for that, Shirley. Monica, I want to come to you if that's okay, because we've heard a little bit about the support. In fact, we've heard a lot from Ella about the support available from our student bodies, which is great. But do you want to say a little bit more about the support services that exist across the university community and what those support services offer to our students?
Absolutely. So one of the really great things about Glasgow is that we do want to make sure that we support you as much as we possibly can. before you arrive and also throughout your degree. So we have lots of different support services in place to help us do that. So we have a student inquiry team that you can get in touch with if you don't know where to go, and they have an online form that you can fill out if there's questions that you have. Maybe it's something to do about council tax or registration or enrollment. So that is available to all students, but we also have really dedicated support staff. So we have our disability service, which is really fantastic. So for anybody with kind of any additional support needs, anything like that, they are there for you to put that in place. So anybody, for example, if you had additional time in exams at school and you want to make sure that you have that when you come to university, please do get in touch with the disability service as soon as you arrive so that we can make sure that we have all the supports in place for you that you need. We also have a really fantastic counselling service, our CAP service, who are there for all of our students. So if at any point during your studies you need that support, they are there for you as well. And we also have a really great student finance team. So if you have, as it sounds, if you have any finance issues, they're there for you as well, and they can answer any queries that you have. And everybody who's on the panel will have heard me say this numerous times, because I say this to every single new student that I speak to. A lot of the time when we talk about coming to university, we kind of emphasize the fact that it's about becoming independent. It's about becoming an independent learner. It's an opportunity to become more independent. And I think a lot of the time we equate independence with being alone, and it absolutely does not mean that. Independent does not mean alone. There are people whose entire job at the university is to support you and help you while you're a student here. So I think the kind of key difference, especially for anybody who's maybe coming straight from school, is that the support is absolutely there. If you ask, we will help you, but you have to ask. And I can promise you that if you're struggling at any point throughout your degree, if you put your hand up and say, I'm really struggling with this, there will be someone there to help you. And if there isn't someone there to help you, they can point you in the right direction. So please do make sure that if at any point you're having any issues, that you do let someone know, and then we can find the right person to support you with that.
Yeah, I think really, really great advice, Monica. If in doubt, ask. Please ask us, and we will be able to point you in the right direction of where those resources and that support exists, because it definitely does exist within our community. So I think that's really, really good advice. If I can stick with you, Monica, I just wanted to pick up on international student services and support in particular, because for international students, it's even more complicated, because as I mentioned, you may have to get a UK bank account or register with a new GP. So, how do international students get the support that they require specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So coming to university in itself is a really big transition, and adding to that the fact that you're moving in from another country, that adds another layer of complexity. So we've tried to put as much support in place for our new international undergraduate and postgraduate students as we possibly can. And that includes the fact that we have a 2-week induction for international students. So that is going to be running alongside Freshers Week and all the events that Ella already mentioned. And during those 2 weeks, there'll be events around just socializing, so just meeting other students. There'll be an opportunity to get to know Glasgow and the campus a little bit better. But there's also going to be 2 induction sessions, and those are going to take place on the 6th and the 13th of September at 10 a.m. And they are going to go over all the practicalities. So exactly, how do I set up a UK bank account? How do I register with a GP? What is council tax? How do I deal with it? So all of that is going to be covered in those sessions alongside all the other events that we have planned for those 2 weeks, specifically aimed at international students.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much for that, Monica. And just lastly, because another group of students that we do an awful lot to support within the institution are those that are coming from care experience backgrounds, and they may be student carers, or they may be asylum seekers and refugees. So again, could you just maybe indicate some of the support that we have in place for those particular students with very specific circumstances that may impact on their studies with us?
Yeah, of course. We at Glasgow, just to emphasise that as an institution, we absolutely believe that there's no wrong path to higher education, and we welcome and support applications from people from all different backgrounds and all different life circumstances. And for these groups, so anybody who's care experienced, estranged, a student carer, or an asylum seeker and refugee, we have additional supports in place to make sure that you succeed when you come and study with us. And that starts with our named points of contact. So for each of these groups, we have a dedicated staff member, and they are there to support you from the pre-application stage. So even when you're just deciding to apply to university, all the way through to you transitioning to being a student at the University of Glasgow, and they can offer advice, information, and guidance throughout that entire process. And they're located within our widening participation team. And for care experienced and estranged students, it's Dan Keenan. For student carers, it's Denise Hooper. And for asylum seekers and refugees, we have 2 named points of contact. It's Paula Blair and Martin Irwin. And you can contact them at any point, and they can offer, like I said, advice, information, guidance, support. Anything that you're struggling with, they can provide information on that. So really fantastic kind of port of call. So that's the first people I would get in touch with. Additionally, we have dedicated student societies that we run jointly with the SRC. So Ella already mentioned some of the student societies and clubs that we have, and we do have dedicated societies for these students as well. And they're really, sometimes it's really casual. So we do things like drop-in lunches where you can just come in, grab a slice of pizza, have a chat, just have a little bit of you time in between lectures. Sometimes they're kind of more specific. So in the past, we've had external speakers come in. So for example, for student carers, we've had a care centre come in to talk about all the support that is available for student carers. We also do mindfulness sessions around exam time. So really just a lot of support to make sure that you can, so for example, for student carers, that you can balance your care and responsibilities with your studies. We also have kind of specific supports for each of the groups. So for example, student carers, every student carer at the University of Glasgow is eligible for a carers plan. And exactly that is there to help you balance your care and responsibilities alongside your studies. For anybody who's care experienced or estranged, we also have accommodation guarantee 365 days of the year. So you can stay in student accommodation the full year round. And just other supports, you know, dedicated bursaries, dedicated supports that are in place, priority access to some of our other student support services like the counselling services if you need that. So lots and lots of support there to make sure that your journey at Glasgow is a successful one.
Thanks, Monica. Really comprehensive response to covering a lot of different information and guidance that we have available for students who are coming from those backgrounds. So hopefully that's been really helpful to many of you watching. We are bang out of time, but I still have so many questions to ask. So I'm going to do a very quick quick fire round on some of the other kind of topics that we wanted to cover today. Gavin, I might just come to you because one of the areas that we haven't yet touched upon, but I think for many will be of great interest, is around career support. So I just wondered if you can quickly say a little bit about the kind of career service that we have at the university.
Yeah, so the career service at Glasgow is fantastic, and it's based right on campus as well. So you've got the kind of Fraser building there to kind of go in and ask your kind of questions. The support there is kind of runs throughout your time at university, and also even once you've left. So it's not as if we kick you out the door and expect you to move into a fantastic career all of a sudden. We will still support you for up to 2 years after that as well. And the idea behind this is it doesn't rush you into just instantly getting a job. We really genuinely try and hook you up with industries and partners that you actually genuinely want to work with. And some degrees will include this as part of your degree throughout when you're studying as well. So you might get a wee chance to do work experience. And there's also like loads of work that you can do like on campus as well. You can work for the university. You can be a student ambassador. You can get part-time jobs at the university doing like vlogging for us. You can kind of build up, if that was the kind of career path you want to go down, a bit more kind of marketing and type stuff like that, you can join and actually help us with that stuff. But the career service itself is absolutely fantastic, just for kind of giving you that next step up to what you want to go on and do.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much for that, Gavin. And then I'm going to turn to, well, maybe all of you, in fact, if you have something that you want to add, just about what you think students will experience coming to Glasgow, both to the city and to our campuses in September. And before I open it up, I did say that I would highlight just some of the health and safety measures that we've put into place. I think it's really important that we flag those to you, because we are welcoming you back into our community, into our spaces, but we are doing so in a very intentional, very considered way. You know, our first priority always is the health and safety of our student and staff community. So as a result of that, I've already mentioned, we are limiting the numbers of students in any of our classrooms to 50. We will have physical distancing measures still in place. We will also have mask wearing being mandatory as you're moving around in closed spaces. We will have improved airflow and ventilation in all of our buildings. We also have in place an enhanced cleaning regime, so that will remain in place throughout this next semester, and there is hand sanitising stations across the campus and halls. So we are really being very mindful of actually putting your health first, always. So for anyone that's feeling a little bit anxious about being back in enclosed spaces with other students, with lecturers, I just want you to know that we have been really thoughtful in our approach to this. We are following all of the Scottish Government guidelines, and we've put into place a lot of additional measures to make sure that you're protected as far as it's possible to provide that level of protection from coronavirus to you. So I just wanted to very quickly highlight some of the things that we're doing, but I'll quickly do just kind of in a sentence or two, panel, just some of the things that you're thinking about in terms of people joining us in Glasgow, both either into the university or into the city. So Ella, I'll kick off with you if that's all right. What can people expect?
No pressure.
No pressure.
I guess for the first semester anyway, very excitingly, more than we have had in the last while. I think everyone's very enthusiastic about coming back and meeting new people. So you'll be in with so many other students that are really excited to just get involved with everything. We'll obviously stay mindful of the fact that not everyone will feel comfortable with, jumping back into everything, or, might not physically be able to get back. So all of the activities throughout the year, we'll sort of keep this in mind, and, we're very excited to put loads on, but people can also just look forward to exploring a really exciting and culturally diverse city that has a great music scene and lots on in the West End, if not even further afield. So very excited for you all to have the opportunity to explore Glasgow for yourself.
Yeah, and let us not forget that Glasgow is the world's friendliest city. So, the kind of the motto for the city is people make Glasgow, and I think that is absolutely the case. And those joining, me as well, because I am not native to Glasgow. When I arrived, I was really blown away by just the warmth of the city and the fantastic personality that Glasgow has as a place. I'm sure that others will want to comment on that as well. Gavin, I'll come to you next, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I've seen some of the comments asking about some of the words I've said, so I'm definitely a Glaswegian. So one of my big things about Glasgow is just the kind of noise. A lot of cities talk about having the energy. Glasgow has a definite noise to it, especially our stadiums are world famous in sport. Our music scene is world famous, as Ella was saying. So it's one of these things that Glasgow it's opening back up. Nightclubs are back. People are just going out and chatting to each other again, meeting each other, and as Rachel was saying, being so friendly with each other. It's something that we'd love to do, love to talk to strangers, and love to kind of meet new people. So that's something that, just Glasgow is so outstanding for.
Great, thanks, Gavin. Shirley?
Hi. Yeah, we obviously undoubtedly want you to have fun and enjoy yourself, and I guess roll with the best experience you're probably going to have up to now in your life. Being part of Team UofG is definitely going to be exciting for you. I know that a lot of you will have questions about accommodation and different kind of things that you're not sure of. We are actually running arrival chats from next Monday for each residence. You'll be invited, for everybody that's accepted an offer of accommodation, to come to those chats and have the opportunity to ask any questions that you have in advance of your stay. So don't worry if we've not covered everything today.
That's great. Thanks so much for that, Shirley. And Monica, I will give you the final word on this.
No pressure. No, I think just what everybody said, it's a really exciting time. I think everybody is really excited to be back on campus, and the energy on campus is really, really fantastic, while still making sure that everybody is staying safe and staying healthy. So it is a really great time to just join the university and just honestly just explore the campus. I mean, I've been here for a few years. I'm not going to reveal how many. But I still get really, really excited just coming onto the main campus and seeing the main building. And it is, you know, we were voted the most Instagrammable university for a reason. It is gorgeous being on campus. So just take the time, especially leading up to your courses starting, if you can, to just walk about campus, get to know it, see all the amazing buildings, and just really acclimatize yourself, because it's, and honestly, the views never get old. They really don't.
No, they really, really don't. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. Fantastic panel joining us today. I'm afraid that we have completely, I was going to say run out of time. We've run over time, but that's great because we had so many great questions to answer. Thank you for joining us for our live Q&A. And we have tried to get through as many questions as possible. And I'm sure the teams on the chats have been busy as well. Their fingers will be on fire. The recording will be available if you want to watch this back, or if you want to share it with others. I'm sure you will. We, of course, will continue to stay in touch with more information. And in the meantime, you can also chat to our uni buddies. So if you haven't been aware of this already, we have a group of students, staff and alumni who are contactable and really keen to answer any specific questions that you might have about joining us. Also, do not forget that we will be back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. UK time for a guided campus tour. So that beautiful buildings that never get old, you will be able to see in real time. And we have our fantastic students, Iman and Daniel, taking you around some of the spaces on campus and really giving you a flavour of what awaits you very, very shortly, in fact. Thank you so much again for your patience with us as well. I know that some of you are still waiting on responses from our admissions team. You're waiting to receive CASs or key updates to your offer. Please do bear with us. We're dealing with a huge volume right now of inquiries and processes that we have to adopt and to take each and every one of you through. So apologies if that's caused any additional anxiety or frustration. We promise that we will come back to you just as quickly as we can. If there is anything that you really need to get in touch with us about, for things for us to expedite, please do. As Gavin said, get in contact with us and we will look to prioritise wherever we can. But in the meantime, do go on and check your applicant portal and just make sure that there's not any action sitting waiting for you, because quite often that can be the case and you just weren't aware. So check out your applicant portal first, and if there is any problem, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. As I mentioned, we are really thrilled to have you join our team UofG community. We cannot wait to welcome you either in person or virtually again. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you soon. And in the meantime, please stay safe and take care. Thank you very much.
The new term is starting soon and we're really looking forward to welcoming you into our inclusive and friendly community.
For those receiving your grades, whatever they may be, take some time to congratulate yourself for making it through these uncertain times.
If you're joining us, we've got everything you need to get started.
Check out our dedicated web pages at glasgow.ac.uk/new students and use our handy checklist to make sure you're ready to join Team UofG.
Also, be sure to tune in to our live campus tour, where I will be showing you around the campus on YouTube and Facebook.
We've been busy preparing the campus to ensure a safe environment to get back to enjoying student life. Your well-being is our #1 priority.
From all the students, staff and academics, welcome to Team UofG.